Well, they were just talking about something on the news fairly horrifying regarding coronavirus in the UK. This was on Sky News Monday morning, so hopefully this was just somebody kind of talking about theoreticals, not what's going to happen. But he was talking about the government forming regional governments in case of nationwide breakdown. What does that remind you of, my viewers who have been here for a while, interested in history? Oh, this. So, basically, for those of you that don't know, in the Cold War, Britain had this plan that was kind of horrible, that in the event of nuclear war where everybody was going to die anyway, what would end up happening is you would basically have local regional governments that would form a sort of feudal warlord system, where they would essentially just enslave everybody and sort of make them work that way. Now, I doubt this guy is suggesting it would be going that far, because again, it's not nuclear war, but it gets very, very worrying when you suddenly hear somebody talking about, you know, a virus state of emergency, and then let's I can't say the word. But you know what I'm saying, the actual sort of regional governments with the power of life and death potentially. Now, this is the interesting thing, a lot of people don't actually know about this if you read the paperwork that they actually put out, or, you know, didn't put out to the public, but it's quite well known anyway. Because the idea was that you'd have a regional government, they would then get the powers of life and death essentially, they could deputise whoever they wanted to be essentially law enforcement officers, hence the traffic wardens and Freds, and it would basically be, you know, they get to say who lives and dies. So if there was something where you'd normally have a criminal case and all that, they'd say, oh, we don't really have the resources to try somebody properly, so just shoot them against the wall. You know, it was that kind of logic. There was also very unfair sort of distribution systems. If you were working for, you know, essentially the regional government, you would get a priority over food and everything else. Medicine, you know, that sort of stuff. So it's very, very important, I think, for people in the UK. Let's hope this doesn't go ahead, but keep an eye on this, because, yeah. So if you've not seen Freds, especially if you're in the UK, it's definitely worth watching Freds from 1984. It's sort of a very, very bleak Cold War film about nuclear war, and then the people who survive it probably wish they hadn't. But yeah, they're basically talking about the Fred scenario, just instead of nuclear war, it's a virus. But it wouldn't be all that different, I suppose. So, yeah, hopefully this was just a guy who had no idea what he was talking about, but he was some sort of senior person that was being interviewed. And they were trying to say it in a reassuring way that, you know, well, it'd be more adequate if you had a local government rather than a state government. And I know some people might say, you know, that would be better having state governments or like county governments, and I'd agree under normal circumstances, but bear in mind I think they're talking about it in this regard. This isn't just like having localised government rather than a, you know, countrywide government. This is on about basically giving, you know, local kind of psychopaths who are sort of, you know, pen pushers, powers over life and death. Not something you necessarily want. So hopefully I'm just being alarmist, and hopefully this guy was off his rocker as well. But if what he's saying is true, and we know from history what these sort of plans were, I've got videos on this if you want to look through the older videos in more detail. It's not very pleasant, but yeah, all I'll say is a bit of research for you lot. Watch Freds, see what you think of Freds when you watch it, and then think this is what some people in government now seem to be thinking is a good idea to institute. Oh dear.